of Starseed Activations. Excellent. Welcome, everyone. So, we just want to start off by saying thank you so incredibly much, dear star people, for this beautiful channeling tonight. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so incredibly much for providing the best information that is in alignment for each and every person watching. And we are extremely humble and grateful for your service. And thank you so much. And so each of us, if we can just take a nice deep breath in, we are going to start tonight off with an Om. And we are going to allow our hearts to open wide and expand, allowing us to be in alignment with a higher frequency of love, joy, and bliss. Now, the star people are also going to help us by assisting us in connecting to our higher selves. So just take a deep breath in. One more deep breath in. Beautiful, dear ones. So now we just want to say welcome, everyone. And yes, we are celebrating a full moon in Leo tonight. And so the full moons always bring this type of release energy and then receive shortly follows sweet. So I want you guys to realize that some people do take things like water, and and it could be any water in a plastic bottle is fine. And we put it outside because light ions don't pass through glass, but they do pass through plastic, which is fantastic. So when we can do things like take a water bottle and we stick it outside, that water is actually going to absorb the frequency of that full moon, which then in turn is going to allow this receive and release process to be absorbed into the water. The same way each of us has the ability to program water so that it holds an emotion code. Now, why would we want to do this? Because in this particular full moon, it's a very fierce type of energy. And so it is going to help us to release any darkness or any density inside the energetic grids, which may be holding us into a level of density or holding us into a 3D perception of our physical reality. Now, a 3D perception is a slower frequency of time and space. And so when we start to visualize 3D, we start to see things as if you have to go and take each and every baby step. So you may have to go to work, drive in the car, come from point A to point B, and so on and so forth. Whereas a fourth density perception looks like I'm in this moment. And then all of a sudden, I'm in another moment. And then in another second, I'm in another moment. And the entire day goes by very rapidly because you're staying in that type of alignment or zone of focus, which allows you to perceive time and space very differently. So, the reason why we want to do things like make moon water is because it assists us in releasing the density that we hold. If you are able to take 30 bottles of water and drink one a day for the next month, that frequency of releasing that density is going to help you to slingshot and release much of your trapped emotions in the physical body, which then is going to help you to receive new emotion codes. Now, new emotion codes may look like receiving new food, receiving new knowledge, or just simply allowing new items to come into your physical reality. We are recalibrating the channeler. Everyone take a deep breath in. Beautiful. Okay. So new knowledge can come in many different forms. It may come as if a new physical item comes to you. It may come in the form of new education or new knowledge or information. It may come in new items that you are digesting. And so we want to always realize that something had to first be given up or released into the simulation in order to allow your energetic field that space to allow for that new energetic to fully manifest for you. Now, when we talk about the full moon, it has such an ability to change your entire perception. Any darkness and density that is inside of your field is going to get triggered. And so you may notice that there may be more changes around the full moon cycles. The moon also plays a critical role on your blood and circulation. So many times, the blood and circulation, if you get triggered into having extra blood inside of your system, it is an indication that it may be time for you to drop into meditation practices, because there are certain forms of meditations that allows for a type of astral connection to fully manifest specifically during full moon cycles. So knowing your zodiac charts and as well as your lunar placements of your, they're saying it's like a solar energetic chart, which is in your moon chart. And knowing what that is then allows you to determine if you're in alignment to receive a type of activation inside of the pineal gland. So every single one of us tonight, we should technically be dropping into meditation just in case, and really trying to pull this energy up the body. Now, there's two energies. Your chi energetic systems go up. So just imagine the earth gives us a form of electricity. That electricity reduces our ions and it rebalances our electrical current inside of the body. Now, we know that the heart holds electrical currents, but we are also containing a magnetism. That magnetism connects into the Earth's magnetic grid structure, and that magnetism comes down the physical body. Now, your soul is magnetic in its nature. And so what that means is all of our emotions gets controlled by the higher self. So whatever emotions that we experience, we always want to recognize that the higher self is in full control of the emotions that we are walking through. Now, many times there's a form of two-way contact and communication with the higher self. So this two-way communication means that we are able to consciously go inside and discharge any emotions that no longer serve us. But the way that we do that is by holding 3 different polarities to that emotion code. So what that looks like is we usually experience the dark one first, or we pay attention to the dark one first, but it could be either way. Then we neutral out that dark frequency or that darker emotion. And then we send ourselves love and light, which allows us to heal our bodies. It allows us to also heal the soul or the spirit, because your soul can get imprinted with different types of emotion codes, which then will carry over from reincarnation to an incarnation. So this life in this moment, my body, mind, spirit is Danielle Lipton, or actually it's L now, L Lipton. But in a past life, I potentially had different life incarnations where I held different emotion codes that got imprinted into the soul, and then those carried over into this life. Many times when we start talking about soul imprints, it's usually something that we'll start to notice a cycle repeat. Many times we won't even notice it happening, but the higher self knows it's in there. And so you can always ask the higher self, thank you, higher self, for showing me any emotional imprints that want to be healed. And when we start to dive in deep, it actually unlocks your memory grid complex, because then little bit at a time, we start to see fragments of the past lives that we have experienced. Now, this is of high value to each and every one of us, because when we start summoning emotion codes from a past life, we don't have to resonate with these emotion codes. We just have to go in and heal them. And when we can go in and heal these different emotion codes, if it makes us feel lighter, keep doing it, because that means that we've just healed a little fractalized piece of our soul, which then in turn is going to allow us to absorb a higher density level inside of our current life experiences. The only way to get into 4D and 5D is to release the darkness and allow more light into your systems. So we have to release all of these dark emotion codes that we have experienced, even if we don't resonate with them, and even if they are potentially from a past life. It is okay to imagine and visualize any dark emotion code, and we just summon them. And so just imagine that you saw darkness on the TV. Automatically, that means that you have a witnessing attachment potentially running in your energetic grid complex. So witnessing attachment is when you witness that darkness. So it is still an emotion code. The second that you as an individual trigger that emotion code, whether by witnessing it on a television set or by experiencing it in your physical life, that means that your star field opens a potential door up to allow that type of attachment to latch on to your energetic grids. So even if you don't resonate with that emotion code, just realize that we can go inside and summon any emotion and just go in and love and light the emotion. It is okay to experience this emotion. It is okay to experience any dark emotion. That's okay too. And then it is okay for us to send love and light to our bodies and to heal from that emotion. Many times these emotions are broadcast at humanity. They are broadcast through media, TVs, and music. So when we can start to recognize, okay, we've all experienced these dark emotions, so now we're going to go in and we're going to clean them up. We're going to love and light them. We're going to love and bless our bodies. And we're going to consciously be focused on cleansing and purifying each and every emotion code so that it allows us to dive into that light frequency ranges. Now, this is a topic that's come up multiple times for me personally. Besides being a channeler, the past week, we have got to be able to have these real conversations in which we put our cards on the table and we actually talk about what we go through. And so this is one of those soul lessons for me, because it's rare that I let other people help me process my emotions. I have my inner crew that does help me, but overall, I feel like there's a part of us that it is highly beneficial for each and every one of you guys to recognize. Even as a channeler, we go through the darkness. The past week, we went through some sort of planetary alignment or conjunction, whatever you guys want to call it, that triggered us into a polarity reversal. And so this is personally for me the second time I've seen this happen to multiple people, where people who were flying high plummeted and they had to go through darkness, and people that were lower, the universe slingshot them up so that they can experience more light. Now, what that looks like is us diving back down into any cycle repeats. So if you guys have noticed any cycle repeats coming up in your life where you felt tired or dense, or you felt like a lower frequency, I'm telling you, it's normal. I went through it too. And so all of my old cycle repeats started showing up hardcore. And it was like, oh man, I can't ignore it. And sometimes the universe puts you in a position where it's like you have to just stop everything and unpack your stuff and go through your own healings. And so that's why many of you guys asked what happened last week with the lives. It was because I was diving into my own meditations and my own stuff and unpacking and healing. Now, we're not supposed to idolize any person. Nobody is a guru. Nobody should be put on a pedestal. And we have to realize and recognize the best spiritual teachers are the ones who are going through the thick of it with you. And that includes me, and that includes everyone else who's doing it. The more we can have open communication and conversations about what we're going through, what we feel, all the denseness that comes up, and how we transmutate our emotions, and we open the door to it's okay for us to go through our darkness, and it's okay to share and care and to allow other people to help each and every one of us, because it truly is together that we rise. Humanity must evolve together. It is not one person standing on a stage telling everyone how to heal. That's impossible. It's each and every one of us helping each other, and then every single person carving out their own path to their own evolution. That is the way it must go. And it must go this way because everyone's perception is slightly different. And so I may find a way for me to carve through my life and to help me to raise my frequency. You guys may take the tidbits of all the stuff that I've went through, and then you make it your own. And you absorb your own power, because then you master your own emotions, your own feelings. And then I only ask you guys to take your knowledge that you've learned and share it with the people who are drawn to you so that you can help them. Because by us taking our knowledge and truly sitting down, taking the time to help other people, that is how we give back to humanity as a whole. And so just this one thing alone, it has the potential to change the entire world. When each and every one of us puts our ego aside and says, this is what it is. This is what it feels like. Sometimes we have to cry. So I go to breathwork ceremonies, and I swear to God, sunshine makes everyone cry. The woman only has to touch you. She lays a finger on you and you're in tears, right? But when you're done breathing and doing all that crying and sobbing, you feel a whole lot later. And then you don't even know what different type of emotions and events comes up. We had stuff from past lives come up during breath work. So it really, really is highly beneficial for each and every one of us to dive into multiple spiritual practices, whether it be yoga, Wim Hof breath work meditation where you're having a mask and you're doing deep, heavy duty breath work as people are chanting around you. I do attachment removal sessions in groups now, which is amazing to do. But it's truly a blessing to see that there are so many different modalities. Try them all. Don't listen to one person. Absorb any knowledge that you feel is in alignment with you personally, and then feel, how does it make you feel? What did you guys try out? Keep a record and then help other people with it. It truly is absolutely amazing. You didn't want to go on? It was that bad. Mary Jean, yes, it absolutely was. Last week was rough for a lot of our people. But that's okay too, because we have to realize whenever we see a polarity switch, that is always an indication that, well, one, the magnetics is kind of like a pole reversal, which, not to panic anyone, but pole reversals are documented in the geology of the planet. So if we're seeing it now on the body form, I personally have seen it twice. It's only a matter of time before it reflects into the simulation in the location coding ring, which is okay too, because we go through this type of reversal a couple of times, whether it be 10, 20 times total before any type of electrical solar flash that we go through, and it allows us to see the darkness and the light, which is why we go through reversals, because we have to walk through the darkness and we have to walk through the light. There's no other way to put this except that is what it is. The darkness and the light, it is not two separate entities. It is one and the same frequency wave. So you just imagine the frequency wave is very rapid when it's light. When we boil water, the atoms and the molecules are under a frequency which is very rapid. That's the light. It's very hot. It contains fire. So, but when we slow down, when we go into like the ice range or snowflakes, the atoms and molecules start to go so slow. So time and space works the same as hot as cold, and everything is connected. So when we start to recognize the light and the darkness, it's one frequency wave. Our density is what determines where on this frequency range that we hold. So whether we are experiencing very fast lives or very slow density on top of us, and that means we have a lot of clearing to do. The polarity switches allow us the opportunity to dive into the stuff that needs or wants to be healed, which is a blessing, because if we were always high vibing, we would never be diving into the darkness to cut all of that energy off of us. And that's truly what we want, or we should be shooting for doing, is releasing any darkness or density off of our field so that we can start to master the light codes. Now, it's of high value to understand the darkness, because once again, we have a shadow. That shadow is something that we're actually able to control. And so anybody who knows what dark matter is, we do have a dark matter Merkaba field, which is directly connected to the Kundalini channels inside of the biologics. Now, this dark matter is connected into the void, or it even is connected into the black holes. In order for an individual to raise the consciousness to such a degree in which they are able to manifest big things, like let's say a planetary body, you would have to have some type of control over the dark matter Merkaba field, because all light is generated inside of darkness. Our birthing processes is generated inside of darkness. This all happens within the body. Your brain is electrical signals, which is light, which is encased inside of darkness, which controls what you see and sense inside the physical reality. Although there is also tachyon particles inside of your heart, which connects directly above time and space to the higher self, which is really what is in control of your physical reality. So your heart actually contains memory. This is very important because whatever is seen by your physical body, it is always seen first by your heart as a frequency. Now, whatever we see in the physical reality, it acts similarly to that of this video. So this video, there is a time-space delay. The words coming out of my mouth take a split second to be received by the camera, and then another split second to end up on your video, and then another split second for your brain and your mind to absorb and then transmutate it in your mind. So it's a time-space delay. So the second that we know that, that means that even by watching the video, technically you're looking into the past. Well, this is the way all physical reality works. However, the 0 point is a form of conversion where it is actually a reversal or a flip of the energetic. And this is how duality works. So light and dark is actually reversed, which is the reason why you go through a pole reversal when the time for evolution is upon you. And that is because the heart is recalibrating the energetic grids, and it is allowing for an individual as a whole collective, which is unity consciousness, to dive in deep and allowing that reconfiguration of dark and light, allowing you to truly tune into that 0 point and allowing you to fully master who you truly are. For as an activated individual, one must master the light and the dark in order to rise their density levels to such a degree in which they are able to activate 365 extrasensory abilities, which is the end goal for 4D only. In 5D, there is another spectrum of extrasensory abilities that we'll unpack. However, this channeler is not allowed to express any of those because it is beyond the human comprehension. For now, dear ones. However, the 365 extrasensory abilities include different things like astral projection. Astral abilities range in the magnetism field as well as the electrical field. Some of you are dream walkers, so you are able and ready to program your magnetism by diving into the lucid realms, which allows you to program different experiences into the simulation for all of the unity consciousness that you are connected to. That does not mean that every single person is going to experience whatever you program into your reality. That means that those individuals in alignment with your magnetism may experience it unless 3 individuals are programming that dream time space together as a collective, then it shall broadcast out for all of humanity to experience. That is only the dreamtime realms. For there is other types of manifestations that have to do with a magnetic energetic, which may be encoded by some of you into other individuals' energetic grid complex. This in turn is going to change not only your manifestation, but theirs as well. That is a form of a magnetic extrasensory ability. Your magnetism is able to dictate the weather patternings. So having the ability to cast a magnetic frequency is going to allow one to change or modify your weather patternings. It is also going to allow for a form of density to be removed from other people's energetic grids, allowing to shift their perceptions into a more love-based frequency. Humanity knows this as a whole, for you are readily available to send love and light to any individual and warm their hearts. That is a form of magnetism. There is also a form of charismatic energy that has a lot to do with electrical systems as well as your magnetic systems. The chi energetic systems are electrical in their nature. One must have a positive alignment with Mother Earth in order to fully cast the chi energetic systems. Your chi energetic systems includes full control over any lightning or electricity as a whole. There is electricity inside of each individual's bodies. Now, when a person is void of energy or they just feel drained, we may start to see individuals on your planet who can go and plug this form of electrical energy into their biological systems, which then may be perceived as an instantaneous healing of their bodies. You may also be able to cast this type of energy into other plants and animals alike, for all consciousness is electrical in its nature. Your sun is giving an electrical frequency, which then becomes absorbed by Mother Earth, Sophia. When Mother Earth guides this electrical energy, she changes or refocuses humanity's consciousness. When you start to energetically cast this frequency into Mother Earth, you are then changing or modifying her consciousness grid itself. For in select areas, she may choose to experience darkness or more dense frequencies, which is in alignment with any and all people. But when we see one who is a light bringer, which many of you are, this is your nature as starseeds. When you start to cast your chi energetic systems directly into Mother Earth, you may also cast it into the human consciousness grids above your mind or your head. When you do this, Mother Earth hears your calls, dear ones, and then she may change or modify the consciousness grids according to the higher selves in that location and what experiences are needed to evolve humanity as a whole. For Mother Earth will always act on a whole scale, never on an individual, for she is connected to each of you, and unity consciousness is her end game. So by you casting this form of electrical energy into her, she is going to either raise her frequency or she may even consciously choose to change your location coding so that you are more in alignment with a positive frequency location. This may come in all forms of manifestation. Mother Earth has the ability to put people, places, and things, as well as animals and plants, in your path in order to assist your healing. So, any individual who does not quite feel good, or maybe you are saying, I just don't feel right. You know who you are, dear one. You may go onto Mother Earth, no matter what the weather is, and just ever so gently place your hands directly on Mother Earth and ask her to gift you a plant. This plant is going to rebalance your chi energetic systems, and it is going to allow you to raise your biological frequency, which then is going to change the patterns of thought that you have running. Your patterns of thought may also be dictated by any attachments running in your thought grids. Your thought grids, because they are electrical in their nature, must always be reevaluated. If you have any negative or lower vibrational thoughts running in your mind, please, one at a time, discharge those thoughts. You may say, get off and go home in case you have any attachments running. However, we wish for you to be aware that your thoughts running must also be in a magnetic alignment. A magnetized alignment is an emotion code, for all magnetism is generated inside of the heart chakra. Your magnetism is how you feel. Your thoughts is how you think. When the individual places the thoughts and the emotions together, it allows for a very advanced form of manifestation to fully form in your life. When you take control of the thoughts and emotions, you then are going to allow either positivity to fully bloom, or you may notice a shift. That shift may be something that is brought to your awareness or attention that needs to be rebalanced or replaced in alignment. Some individuals may not be aligned with information of this source, and that is okay too. For boundaries is of high value for each and every one of you. If an individual is using lower vibrational words, it is okay to excuse yourself, specifically because any lower vibrational words are forming a type of manifestation that one may not be aware that is taking place. For each word that is heard, seen, spoken, or felt, turns and imprints your energetic grid complex, which then starts to form a manifestation into your current reality. Any and all words must be observed from this nature. For all words, all thoughts, all feelings, all emotions are a form of manifestation. When we start to recognize this, it is of high value for each and every one of you to be conscious and to be aware of how you treat or energetically cast your thoughts, feelings, and emotions at other individuals. For anything that you energetically send into the universe, you are also imprinting your own energetic grid complex, which then must be healed. So if you are casting lower frequency words, you must then override those words with a loving intention or a recalibration, as we call it. Does anyone have any questions? And we just want to say thank you, dear star people, for channeling with us. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Take your time. Excellent. So we are doing the shadow work Zoom tonight. So that shadow work Zoom is going to start at 8:30. Everyone, you guys should have the link already. The star people saying we are going to cut it a little earlier tonight. So it's okay too. Everyone, if you don't have the link, you guys can go to daniellelipton.com and send in an email, and then I will send you guys a shadow work Zoom link. There's no charge. We do it because together we rise, we heal together, and we love each other. And so it is my honor and pleasure to do this with you guys, for you guys. So thank you guys for joining. You guys have many love and blessings and have a great night. Okay. Beautiful.